Welcome. In this video tutorial, we're going to go over how to use the Veritas eDiscovery platform to collect files from a file share, process them, and then view and redact them. So let's get started. From the dashboard of the eDiscovery platform, I will go into a case that I have already created. Once I go into the case, I'm taken to the case dashboard. From there, I'm going to go to the collections module. Once in the collection module, you can see that I have collected a number of files and emails for this case already, as well as some SharePoint data. From the bottom right, I will click on the Add button. This will add a collection task to my case so that I can collect the files that I need. When I click Add, a dialog will pop up that will allow me to select the type of data that I want to collect, or I can filter down based on location or custodian. Since I know I want to collect file share data, I will select file share at the top, and that filters down the list to the available file shares that has been configured within the eDiscovery platform. I'm going to select on file share 05, which are the regional office shares, and click select. The first filter that I have here are the date filters. So you can modify your search to filter based on creation date, modification date of the files, or last access date. The time zone is using the current time zone for the appliance, and you can select the date pickers here, on or after a specific date, on or before a specific date, or between two separate dates. So if I'll select this option, we get two calendar pickers. So I'll select March 1st of this year and today. So essentially this will filter my collection for any files that have been created between the 1st of March and the 27th of March. The next option that we have are keywords. And what this will do is allow you to filter your search based on the presence of the keywords within the files on the file share. So all files that are going to be collected will be inspected, and if they contain the phrases or words that you have in your keyword section here, they will be included in the search. All others will be excluded. The next tab are container files. Container files are common files like PSTs or OSTs, NSFs, as well as zip files, RAR files, and forensic images. The next tab is file type. This allows you to filter your search based on a particular file type. So you can select from any of the options that are available on this list, or you can include your specific file extensions down here. The next tab is filtering by owner or SID. This allows you to filter files that are owned by a specific account. So for example, if you're only interested in files owned by a particular custodian, you could click Add Custodian. This will bring up the list of custodians that have already been assigned to your case. However, from this drop-down menu, you can select the entire employee list. From there, you can simply select the green plus mark next to each name, and that will add that person to the list. Their identifier will be used to then filter out the search results. Up at the top, you can select directories. By default, when you run a search against a share, it's going to search the entire share. However, if you are interested in searching particular folders, you can uncheck this box here, and you can either add names directly, such as regional shares, or you can browse and add, and the appropriate share will pop up, and you'll be able to select the folder. You can also exclude folders from being searched by adding them in the similar fashion here, and these particular folders will always be excluded from your search results. Once I'm ready to save this, I can either save it and then run it at a later time, or I can select Save and Start, which will start the collection immediately. Saving it and then running it later allows me to run the collection at a scheduled time, perhaps during the evening or weekend hours, where there is going to be less traffic on that particular file share. I'm going to select Save and Start and allow this to run immediately. We'll come back when it's complete. So here we are, and we've got our completed file share collection task. So we've got file share 05, and we're collecting against the corporate executives, and you can see that it's a file share task. Under the collected column, we can see that we collected 142.7 megabytes of files, and the number in parentheses is the number of files collected, in this case 130. Under the status column, we can see that we have a success here. If I click on that, we can see some details about the task, such as when it was created and the various stages of the task and when it was finished. If I need to schedule this collection to run again or on a recurring basis, I can select the clock icon here. I can select a start date and time, and then choose the recurring options such as either daily or weekly. This allows me to run collections over and over again, which will pick up anything that's new or anything that's been modified since the last time I ran the collection. Once we've collected this data, we're going to want to process it. I've already went ahead and added several collection sets for this case, so we are ready to view those files now that they've been processed. I'll click on Analysis and Review, and I'm just going to run a search on the entire case. As with many cases, the evidence that has been collected spans multiple file types and, of course, email, and we have both types here. What I'm going to do is click on Advanced Search, and this will allow me to filter down based on the types of files that I'm going to look for. So I'm going to click under Scope, and right now I'm not interested in email, so I'm going to clear that checkbox. I want to leave Loose Files checked, and click on Run Search. What this is going to do is show me all of the files that I have collected as part of this case. This includes all of the attachments to emails as well as the loose files that we collected off of any file shares as well as any laptops. That totals 1,100 items in this case, and that's what we're looking at here. What we can do with any one of these documents is review them straight away, but you can also use the facets here on the left to further filter those down. So for example, if I'm looking for a particular owner or a particular file type, I can expand that out here, such as file type, and it shows me all of the different document file types that are included from our collected evidence. You can see that we have a number of files under Excel, a number of Microsoft Word documents. What I'm going to do is look at the PDFs, the 12 PDFs that we have. And a quick way to do that is to click on the Only link next to PDF, which will clear out all of the other filters. And I will click Apply, and that'll show me just the PDFs. Once I have my list of 12 PDFs here, we can take a look at them individually. Before we want to do that, I want to highlight one of the new redaction features within the eDiscovery platform latest version, which is version 9. During many cases, especially with Freedom of Information Act requests or other types of records requests, the requirement to redact across the entire case is pretty prevalent. And we're only looking at 12 documents currently. However, there were 1,100 files in total that were collected for this case, and I may need to redact across all of them. To do that, I'm going to select the Actions menu and Redact. This allows me to redact across all of the documents here, whether it's the 12 that I've got selected or the entire case. The first setup here is a redaction set, and this is something that's new within the eDiscovery platform version 9. And what this does is it allows me to wrap up a number of redaction settings within a set, similar to what you would do with tags. This allows me to have preset reason codes as well. So if you notice down here under the text to redact, we also have the ability to select a reason code. Now the reason code could be something that your reviewers enter manually, and this is the way it's been done in the past, where any redaction that has been done, the person doing the redaction was free to put whatever reason they wanted in there. With version 9, you actually have the ability to publish a set of reason codes that the reviewer would be forced to choose from if they were to perform a redaction. So if you were redacting for personally identifiable information or confidential information or any kind of information that needed to be redacted, you would select the reason code populated in the list. You can also change the color. So there are a number of color options here, whether it's black, red, green. You can do your own custom colors as well. And what this will allow you to do, of course, is redact across the entire case. So if there's a phone number or a name or email address or other piece of information that you'd like to redact, you can simply put that in here and redact across the entire case. What we're going to do right now, however, is open up one of these individually. It'll open the text view by default, so we're going to change our view into redaction and annotation. Also new with version 9 is the ability to annotate documents, which we'll get into in a second. But here's the PDF, and the redaction tools that are available to you are here on the left. So there are a number of different types. The first redaction tool here is Redact Area, and this is a pretty simple tool. You select it, and here are those reason codes again, and the color that you're going to use to redact. So the standard, of course, would be black, but of course you can use whatever color you would like for different redactions. And the only option that we have available to us right now is PII. So I can select PII, and then of course you can also give your reviewers the ability to enter in their own reviewer reasons for actually redacting this document, and that would be the way it worked prior to version 9. So I'll just take this tool and drag an area. So let's say I wanted to redact this entire first listing here, and that'll essentially redact an entire area. It'll just draw a black box. Now you'll notice that this is still translucent. When we produce this document, typically what organizations will do is produce the documents in their native format, and then anything that has been redacted will be converted to either TIFF or PDF. And at that point, these redactions will be burned in. But up until that point, they are editable. You can take this and move it, you can resize it, you can change the color, and of course you can see through it so that you can see what was redacted without having to move it out of the way. Of course, you can delete it by clicking on it and selecting the delete key. The second option is to redact text specifically. So if you have text within your document, you can actually double click on a word, and it will redact that particular word as well as any other instance of that word. So for example, if I select New York here, it's going to redact every instance of that word. The next option is an allow area. And if you were to redact an entire paragraph, for example, it may be easier to redact the entire paragraph and then allow specific portions of it. So I've already come in here and redacted New York. If I were to allow the area over the word York, you can see that that has been unredacted, but everything else was kept redacted. The next option is for privacy info. So if you were to click that, you can utilize this filter. This is for US Social Security numbers. There's also phone numbers, email addresses, dates of birth, and you can also put in a name here. And then again, select a color and a reason from the drop-down list and click redact. The next option is a find and redact. So if I were to type the word Chelsea and click redact, it would identify 2 instances of that word in this case and automatically redact them. Again, you have the options for color and redaction reason. The next option would be a find and redact from and to. So you can put specific from and to addresses here, and again, select the color and reason. And then the last one is the entire page. So you can redact specific pages or a page range, and again, select your color and reason and redact those automatically. So those are the redaction features. Any changes that you've made, you need to click the Save button. That will save the particular markup, and again, it will stay translucent until you produce this document, and of course, those will be burned in. It's also helpful to know that when you do redact any particular document, it is automatically assigned a tag under the default redaction tag set. So this will get the redacted tag associated with it, and that allows you to easily find those documents later, especially during the production process when those documents need to be burned into PDFs or TIFFs. It's also handy to note that you can specifically print this document right now, and it will print out the document on whatever printer you would like, and those redactions will, of course, be included. You can also choose to include the reasons on why those documents were redacted. Next, on annotations, we can switch to the annotation view by clicking on Annotate here. And this will just simply change the tool set that we have available to us on the left. This allows us to create text, such as confidential. And of course, you can select your color and font and size and other options such as bold or italic. You can also upload an image. So if you have a stamp image that you'd like to use, such as confidential, or perhaps a logo for the law firm, you can click on any image and use it as a stamp on this document. You can also draw lines or arrows. So for example, if I need to highlight a specific area here, such as this, I can simply draw an arrow and move it around. And finally, there are several strike through and highlighting options. So we have a strike out. I can simply select text here and it will strike it out. Of course, the color is customizable. I can also highlight certain things, such as this line here. And of course, you can select whichever color you would like. The last one is an underline. So again, if I wanted to underline this particular address, I could do that with perhaps the green. The exclamation point here shows that you have marked up this document, and similar to the redactions, you need to click the Save button in order to save those. And then if I need to go in and remove any of these, I simply select the selection tool and click on any one of the annotations, and I can click on Delete, and it will remove those. And again, when these are printed, all of the annotations will appear as well. That concludes the demonstration of file collection, redaction, and annotation. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions. Thank you very much.